Hey guys, this is Friday. Going to do a video today about how to become a real estate investor if you have no experience and you just want to get started as a real estate investor. If my son comes to me at 25 years old and I'm not an investor, what kind of advice would I give him to get started in the business so that he can start down that road? Number one, I would say become a real estate agent. If you become a real estate agent, you take the class, you become an agent by taking the test, and then you can work for a real estate brokerage somewhere. And then you can work for real estate investors to help them source properties, to help them find properties, to help them sell properties. And you can begin to understand the market, the MLS. You really have access to all the inventory so that you can start to go through properties and understand what you're doing. And if you're an agent, you can also do some REO work. You can do BPOs for banks. This is something that I did. In 2004, I became a real estate agent. In 2006, I became a broker. I did a lot of bank-owned REO work from 2006 to 2011. And I really started to understand the market, understand repair costs, understand what we could buy properties for, how to buy properties, how it works a little bit, how to find a deal. So that's really a great way in, and that would be my number one suggestion, and that's something that I did. Number two, find a real estate investor and start working for them. And if you're wondering where you find a real estate investor, go to the video that I put together on how to build a buyer's list quickly, how to quickly build a buyer's list. If you understand how to build a buyer's list, then you understand how to find investors. So if you go through that process, you can shortlist investors that are in your area. You can locate them by going through tax records, bigger pockets. You can call around to contractors to see if anybody knows of any real estate investors that are working in the market, and reach out to them and ask them if they are looking for somebody to work for them, to help them source properties, manage the construction of properties, do some running around, just to get your foot in the door. Working for an investor is obviously a great place to start. They act as a mentor to you, and you can start to understand the business and then work your way up the ladder. Number three, find a deal and bring it to an investor. A lot of the times, investors don't want to talk to other people unless they actually have a deal in their hand and they could provide something of value. So if you could find a deal and source a deal and bring it to an investor and say, if I were to bring you a deal, would you work with me? Would you allow me to shadow you along the process? Would you let me manage some of the contractors and just understand how it goes along? And if I were to do that, could you maybe show me how I can raise money? Or maybe in the future you could partner with that investor, and by providing value to somebody by bringing them a deal, you get your foot in the door and you could become a real estate investor and start down that path just by doing that. Number four, you can house hack, and that's where you actually buy a house that you're going to live in, a multifamily, and then you rent out the other units, and it helps pay for your mortgage. So you become a real estate investor kind of by default by just moving into a rental property. And then as you live there, you fix it, you get tenants, you start to understand the business of what it's like to own a multifamily home. And then you could eventually move out, put somebody into the apartment you were living in, and you have your first investment property. This is something that me and my wife did back in 2006, and we still have that property today. We bought a 4-family in Connecticut. We moved in. We lived there for a few years, and then we moved out, and we rented out today. Learned a lot about real estate, repairs, and investing in real estate that way. And then I would say number 5, just find a house, find somebody that will lend you money that you can partner with, and just do it. And just find a deal and just get started and figure it out as you go. And this is really a possibility, but you have to make sure, if you're going to buy a house and you've never done it before, make sure that it's a great deal, because what most people think is a great deal before they start out as an investor and what a great deal really is are very far apart. So make sure you really understand the market. Make sure you understand how to make an offer on a property. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video right after this, and I'm going to talk about how to come up with an offer price, how to analyze a deal a little bit, so that you understand what kind of number you need in order to buy a property at. And this might give just a little baseline so you don't get completely fucked up on your first deal. So those are my 5 suggestions to get started in real estate if you're new and you just want to get the ball rolling. In the comments below, please, if you have any questions or you'd like me to do a video on something else, please leave that and I can address that in future videos. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it, and have a great day. See ya.